Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I like this, because I can move and still it looks okay. So I tried.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, okay, I got my notebook in case anything occurs to me while you're. All righty. Here we go.
Here we go.
Hi, ladies. Hi, ladies. This is Monique with Boundaries for Women. And today we have another video with Susanna Smith Hintz. She is a coach and mediator. And we're going to be talking about, as you can see, self-care during lockdown. And so we're just going to go right into it. Also want to mention that we will be having a Q&A call every Thursday in April. It's a free call, 30-minute call. You're welcome to come and bring your questions and anything that you're wrestling with, struggling with, that you would like us to talk about and reply to. Go ahead and sign up for that call. We'll provide all the links and everything for that. And yeah, we're going to just get straight to it. So, Sue.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about our interviews, I have to say. The first one was really kind of, how can I say, I was nervous, my first interview, and now I'm really, yes, I'm ready to go. I want to help, and I have a
Yeah,
purpose.
awesome. Yeah. So, and Sue has she's got an amazing journey behind her and an amazing life she's living now. And it's just really inspiring and helpful when you're going through possibly narcissistic abuse or just a toxic situation and you're trying to figure out how to get out or what to do. It can be so hope-giving to hear other stories of other people that have overcome this and gotten out and started a new life. So we know that during lockdowns and everything, all these things that can be boundary triggers or abusive situations or toxic situations, they can just be exacerbated and magnified by being in close quarters with somebody that's already behaving badly. So we're going to talk about some things that you can do that we think will help you. So let's talk about it, Sue. What would you say is like one of the top things if you were still in such a situation? What would you say is one of the top things for you that you would do?
I think the top thing here would be that I would think about maybe leaving or how to deal, how to get out of this situation. And during lockdown, you don't have as many chances. You don't have as many places to run to and ask for help. You feel like you have to keep the distance. Shelters may not be open as much as they're supposed to. And what happens if I call the police? What are they going to do? What if they don't believe me? What if I become homeless? Yeah. And even if it's something that I would like to plan, or even if it's something that I decide to do, but I can't do it immediately because I have stuff to take care of. How do I survive this time of being in close quarters with the abuser, and maybe even you say, okay, since it's magnifying during the lockdown, but it's not so bad when everything is open again and he's maybe a little bit distracted, or then I can deal with it and I'm not ready to leave yet, but how am I going to be able to stand being in the same situation without no way out? And I think this is the most important thing that women deal with. And I'm talking here women as in it could stand for a man too. But let's just say for the sake of the conversation, we just concentrate on women, okay?
Yep,
but
absolutely.
Men probably have the same issues sometimes too. But how do I stand the triggers and try not to extra trigger and to, how can I say, keep my mouth shut sometimes, and just endure, stand the tension, or how can I pull myself back in that relationship to just, okay, he said that, I'm not going to jump on this. I'm just going to go back. Maybe I'm even accommodate at the time, even though I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Accommodate at the time just to keep the peace, keep the headache, keep the abuse down to a minimum before I get out, before I can change my life.
Yeah, and that also is comes down a lot to managing one's own state, you know, and taking responsibility for our own, what we're thinking, what we're speaking, and taking the focus off that other person and putting it on ourselves and how we're handling it rather than wanting them to change, which
Yes,
a lot of times when we change, the other person starts to have to make some changes because they have no choice, because now the pattern isn't the same.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
also,
especially like if you live with a narcissist, you know, they feed on reaction.
yep,
What if you know it's wrong, but you just don't react?
yep,
That's going to be a whole new ball game,
yep,
and that takes some time to adjust, which buys you time, and it just, how can I say this? I mean, it buys time and peace and freedom to get your ducks in a row. You
yeah,
think straight, you know,
yeah,
because I tell you what, if you want to get out after a big fight, you are at a loss. You will be at a loss because you cannot think straight. And you know, if you cannot think straight, you will forget things. That's important. You will have to come back. You will have to beg. You will have to negotiate. You know,
mhm,
and this is something that should be well planned if that's your solution to move out and on.
right. So for the immediate, like right now, let's say somebody's just gotten up today and they had just all this stuff happen and they're just like, I just want to throw out a few things that just can help in the immediate while people are making decisions for, you know, what to do next, or just trying to get through today or this week. And as you're
Yeah.
deciding and as you're discerning what is the next step for you, um,
Yes.
I'm sure you're probably doing this already, but if you're not, deep breathing is a huge, huge, huge thing, because it's helping get oxygen to your brain and through your body to bring your body back
Yes.
to a state of calm.
Yes.
If you pray or you meditate, just get into a space. If you have to go in the bathroom to do it, just to have some space to yourself.
Exactly.
And depending on where you are, most of us, even if you're in lockdown, you can still go out and go for a walk. So getting fresh air, going out and getting some oxygen going in your body, and it can also help clear your head, of whatever's just gone on. And, you know, praying that you're not going to get followed or anything like that. Just to go for a walk, just say, I just need a break from this conversation right now. I'm just going to I'm going to be out for a little bit, just for a little bit.
I tell you what, I think that's the biggest thing, to get out of the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
The feelings, the emotions that go on in your head. You know, your frontal lobe takes all the emotions and
Yeah.
explodes, you know, and then you have what I always call the lizard brain, you know, the basic brain that reacts to certain things. And you want to quit reacting. You
Yep.
want to, you know, you want to be the one doing with purpose, with, I don't know, with how can I say, with like a focus,
Yep.
of what you want. And that's where the breathing really comes in, to calm the lizard brain that says, get out, get out, get out now. You know, because your emotions like, I'm hurt, I need to get out now. And I mean, I think we have to distinguish too a little bit between physical abuse. I mean, if he beats me to a pulp and I have broken bones, it's time to get out and call the cops.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's really, you call the cops, you get a restraining order, out he goes, and that buys you time to get everything settled. But if it's not that far, and I mean, emotional abuse is hard to recognize and hard to explain sometimes.
Yep.
And that is not, I just called the cops because he called me a bad name. Yeah. I just plan of splitting, you know, but I know how he's going to react. So, and I think right now here we're talking about the planned moving out or the planned moving on, and not the one where somebody really actually physically hurts you, gives you a black eye or whatever, that's when, I mean, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
this will not get mixed up, because this is really a cop issue. This is something you call the authorities, you ask for help, and get
Absolutely.
out now.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know,
If you're ever physically abused,
that's
instantly
what
have
to do.
police intervention.
Yes,
There's no excuse.
yes,
And the most
yes,
important thing is your physical safety, your fit safety. Now, the thing is that a lot of times emotional abuse, it escalates. And so
yes,
you may be already seeing warning signs. Now, that person may never hit you. They may never hurt you, but they're probably doing a lot of damage to you emotionally, mentally, that just because
yes,
no one can see it is just as bad. And
yes,
fortunately, I think I had shared with Sue, and I might have posted on Boundaries for Women Facebook, that there's a woman, a police officer, she's like a forensic psychologist or something in the UK, and she has started like really making it something that is, the police are trained in recognizing emotional abuse, so that when a victim comes to them and says this is going on, they can't go like, well, has he hit you? Because they have to understand that it could be just one step away from that point by the time someone calls. And so if you're feeling like you're going crazy, or somebody's trying to make you feel crazy, or things are going on that you know they're clearly wrong, other people
yes,
are having concerns over you, if you don't take action, it's very unlikely that anything's going to change. Sometimes that person will get into therapy and start making changes. I mean, that's some part of what I went through. The ultimate question is to decide, can I live with this for the rest of my life? Is this something
yeah,
I can live with? And will I
yeah,
survive living with this? It's
yeah,
really about thinking long term about your future and your life and what you want for your
yeah.
life.
Yeah. And the thing is, now with the lockdown, it's really magnifying. I mean, it comes like everybody is stressed.
Yep.
So the stressor on the narcissist, I think, is really potentially higher,
Yep.
and the blow-ups will probably come more frequent.
Yep.
The honeymoon phase, the phases they go through the tension building, the blow up, and the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase will get shorter, tension building would get shorter, and the explosion get higher and more violent. And I think that's what the danger is of this. And when we talk about deep breathing and going out and separating yourself from the situation, it is an important first step, but it will not heal everything. You cannot just, comply just so he'll be quiet. This is really a way for you to sort out, are you going to be able to stand this? Is this going to be for the rest of my life? Is this really, does that go in line with my values? What are
That's
my
it.
values? How do I want to be treated? How do I set boundaries? How am I going to go on? And another thing I think was really important for me, and is really something important to think about: what am I going to teach my kids? What am I
Mhm.
going to teach my kids? How a woman allows somebody else, yeah, how a woman allows the man to treat you, or like I said, but vice versa, it could be possible too.
Yep.
But what do I allow is happening to me?
Yep.
Where do I set the boundaries? And that is what I think is most important. I cannot talk about healthy relationship with my kids if I have somebody at home that always abuses me, and
Mhm.
you say one thing and you act another. And that's why really the values and the purpose of your life, the values of how you want to raise your kids. And I think everybody wants to raise their kids as a healthy human being, as somebody who's happy in a relationship to come. I think
Yeah.
that's very important too.
Exactly. And ultimately it comes down to being in integrity,
Yeah,
to be aligned with who you truly are. And, it does take steps when you've been
yeah,
in an abusive relationship and somebody's constantly trying to make you feel like you're not all those things, or you're doing everything wrong, or and so this is where getting back to, and this values work can be life changing, because once you know what your values are, there's a great quote says, once you know what your values are, it becomes easier to make decisions. Because if
yeah,
one of your top values, and this was for me, part of my process was, if one of my top value is peace, So if I'm in a situation where there's no peace, well, clearly I should not be in that situation. And then
Yeah.
what needs to happen to get out? You know, but values are different for everybody. But what, and freedom was another one. Do I feel free? No, I don't feel free at all. So, I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, and I think too that the strengths, the reclaiming your power, the stepping into your power, you know, you do have a choice. It may
Yep.
be hard to follow through for half a year, but boy, let me tell you, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I went from an abusive relationship to a happy marriage. It's
Yep.
it's possible. It can be done. Reclaiming your power. You have the right to make decisions. You're
Exactly.
not a, you know, you're not mean for setting boundaries. It is normal to set boundaries, believe it or
Exactly.
not.
That's the way it's supposed to be, right? And just that the fact that you know, again, for everybody it's a different journey in terms of, you know, it's for you, you are in a place where you're in an amazing, wonderful marriage now. And you know, but again, that even that was a process to get to that point where you're open to being with somebody new and being able to trust that someone A is going to treat you well, and B that they're not going to you know what I mean? Like where it's not like you're damaged or something. You know, it's like the fact that you got to a place where you're like
Yeah,
you're who you are
yeah.
matches now with someone who is a healthy person.
And that's what I mean with reclaiming your power, to
Yeah.
reclaim who you truly are, to step into your authority. It's like,
Yep.
I am a woman. I may be a wild woman, as you can see, you know, when I get into this, I move around. Maybe I'm a wild woman. Maybe I'm very opinionated.
Hmm.
But you know what? I'm worthy of love. And I'm worthy of all the love this man can give me. Because you know what? I'm good the way I am. And that took a long time. That
Yep.
really took a long time to see and reclaim me again, to see I'm worth it. I'm worth the effort. I'm worth the pain to go through this to get to the point where I can trust another person again. Of course,
Yep.
it's always the danger too, thinking, what if he misuses that too? But you know what? I've done it once. I can do it again. I am
Yeah.
in my power now.
Yeah. And even like what you said about, you know, like you are this, you like you know who you are. That's the main thing. You know who you are. But even just when you said you know that you're opinionated or whatever. But see, the right person, they're not threatened by who you are.
Yeah,
They're actually
yeah.
like, oh, I love who you are. They're not like, oh, I don't. Oh, they're trying to kind of bring you down a notch. They actually want to lift you up, and like both of
And
you
they
be
encourage
lifted.
you. Yes. They
Yeah,
say, yes, please do it. Help other
it's
women. Help other women to get out of their situation or to even think about it. I mean, it's not always, I think too, and that's a very difficult thing to decide for yourself. It's
yeah,
not always the best solution for you to move out.
yeah,
Maybe you just can't go in line with your values, saying, I married once, and my vows, my wedding vows are so strong, I can't, you know, but then try to reclaim your power by at least going, okay, what can I do? I can start therapy. So I can start, you know,
yeah,
you can take the first step. Maybe he will follow. And, you know, life is full of changes. And maybe you're even adjusting your values, saying, I'm not doing this for all means,
hmm,
you know, and this is like, I'm not taking this anymore because this is not the way it was meant to be. My vows may be strong, but when I said my vows, it had certain values in place.
hmm,
And if the values are not met, I mean, God will not punish you for getting a divorce.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
because,
God wants you to be treated well, treated the way Christ treats us, not the way
yes,
someone that's unhealthy treats us. And so, you know, those are like really, I know those are really touchy things that come up for people, which we can do another video on another time. But the bottom line is, God like honors who you are. God wants you to be treated well, and he wants you to be with somebody who treats you well. And so if you are still in a situation right now where you feel like you have to stay, then the most important thing is to get a hold of your own responsibility in how you react and how you are, and learn to not react as much as respond. So
Yes.
that's a big part of it, because the less you react to someone's drama or craziness, the more they are forced to have to deal with themselves.
Yes. 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 And the more you set the boundaries,
Yep.
they're, you know, they're having to deal with themselves too.
Yep.
Because I tell you what, the worst thing is co-parenting with your abuser,
Yep.
you know? So the time to maybe change, give them a chance, stuff like that, it can be used as like you work on yourself already, you set the boundaries a little bit stronger, and maybe that will help it a little bit. And yeah, I think in COVID times, this is really the point to maybe reach out to help of a psychiatrist or a counselor or stuff like this, just to become more aware of your chances and choices. Go for it.
Yeah, no, and I just want to say, I just really want to emphasize, if you are looking for a therapist or a coach or anybody, any kind of outside help, it's really, 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 really important, if you are dealing with narcissistic abuse and trauma, that that person understands trauma and knows what narcissistic abuse
Yes.
is. Because the worst thing that can happen is you go to a counselor, and then or sometimes people go as a couple, and if that therapist does not understand how narcissistic abuse works, they will end up siding with like that person is able to manipulate to a degree that is
Yeah,
beyond
he's a
understanding.
charmer, you know?
Yeah. And so
She's
make
just
sure that
so
it's,
sensitive.
yeah, exactly. And so, but that's the thing, is if
Mhm.
it's somebody who understands how this stuff works, they see right through it. They're not gonna be, I mean, if you
Derailed,
say,
let's say it that way, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, and they may be like, if you say, because usually a good counselor will not try to get you to do anything. They will just want to assist you to do what is best for you, the choices that you're making. And so if you say to somebody, to a coach or to a counselor, and you say, you're not ready to leave the situation, you're just trying to find a way to manage it, they will help you with that. But make sure they understand um, toxic behavior, psychopathy, narcissistic abuse, because it'll just spare you a lot of grief on top
But
of what you're already going
how would you find such a therapist, you
through.
know? I
You
mean, do
can,
you actually question it the first time?
well, I would just search specifically for that. I would specifically search for that, and I would specifically search for trauma-informed
Yes.
therapists,
Yes.
counselors, coaches. But generally, like for me, it's like this is the main thing I coach on is leaving narcissistic abuse situations. So,
Yeah. And I think you
you know,
can call your healthcare provider
hmm,
and they can really recommend somebody.
yeah,
First of all, they may accommodate with urgencies,
yeah.
you know, that at least it carries you through till you start a long time therapy. And they can probably tell you who's most equipped to help you for your unique situation.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think we're gonna wrap it up there, because we've kind of been having a good chat about this. And again, ladies, we're gonna put a link so that you know how to jump onto the Zoom call with us. And starting next Thursday, no, not next Thursday, the 8th, April 8th, the
Yes.
month of April. And we hope you'll come, bring your questions, bring any concerns that you have, and we will talk through it. And we'll do that, whoever jumps on, we'll just kind of pick people, and yeah, it'll be good. And we really want to help you and help you to just be emotionally free, whatever that looks like for you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
To step into
So
your power and to reclaim your strength, really, that you make choices or that you at least see you have choices. And I think
exactly.
that's very important. I mean, to me, it is very
Yep.
important
Yep.
to assist. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to these Zoom meetings, let me tell you. I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to the input. What are we getting into? I mean, you can hardly prepare for that, but it's like, I think because I'm coming out of such an abusive relationship, so I know that you have had your experience with it. It's like, oh, I hope my experience is enough to help somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. the
Yeah.
fact that I'm free is that's my calling card, you know.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you know, we all have different stories of how it happened and how long it took and whatever. And you know, maybe we'll do a video sometime also on like what my journey was with that. And because I went through 2 back-to-back abusive relationships, like from one right into another one, and I didn't even see the line blur there, you know. So but the amazing thing is that all of what we go through, if we process it and we make the right choices, it can all be used to like transform our lives and help other people. And so that's what kept me
Yeah.
going through all of it. I was just like, one day I will help other people once I get out, you know.
Yeah.
So
But I
yeah,
think that's a very, very good topic for maybe next time too, is how do I recognize the red flags before I get into the next one? How much do I learn from the old one to get
absolutely.
into a safe relationship next time?
Exactly. Yep.
Why
Yep.
don't we just write it down and work on this next time, Monique? Because that's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So so thanks, Sue, for being on this call, and we will see you next time, and hopefully we will see you on the Zoom call, and we really look forward to your questions. So lots of love, ladies. Remember that you're worthy of love and respect. Bye.